watching Motivation Unleashed. You could do this in the morning or at noon or at night. You could do it twice a day, even. There is no right or wrong time to do it. However, you continue to do this day after day and you allow it to develop into a habit. As you begin to carry them out, you will notice a shift in the way things are, even if it's on a relatively subtle scale at first. It is possible to perform an affirmation by either writing it down, writing it on the wall, or the mirror, or just saying it. What I encourage other people to do is to perform their affirmations while standing in front of a mirror because there is something very powerful about looking into your own eyes, accepting yourself, or noticing that you or reject yourself even when you are saying something positive about yourself. And doing so, when you are saying something positive about yourself, that would be a very beginning way to start. So, in the morning, when you get up in the morning, you go to the mirror, and this is a very important one. This is where you start, and it's challenging for a lot of different people. You look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, over and over again. I say, I really, really love you. I am deeply in love with you. To begin this can be very challenging for a person because they tend to focus on the shortcomings they perceive to exist within themselves as a whole. But if you can begin each day by saying that, it will give you a lot of power. Don't forget, I'd like to think that the universe is listening to everything you say, as well as everything you think and say. You should be able to grasp that concept. Therefore, it will then begin to draw you in and draw other things into you. Now, I am aware that this might appear to be a stretch, but it truly is incredible how everything comes together. If you make a good general positive statement for yourself, the universe will figure out how to bring that about in your life and how to bring the benefits of that statement to you. Therefore, it is possible that certain events will take place despite your complete lack of anticipation regarding them. If you imagine that saying positive affirmations is similar to planting a seed in the ground, then you should do it regularly. You would like it to be the case, even though at the moment it may not be entirely accurate to say that it is. So you prepare the soil, plant a seed, and anticipate that it will eventually develop into a plant. Alternatively, you might plant three seeds in the event that you are optimistic about your chances of growing, and you don't wait 2 days and then dig in the earth and see what's happening. What is happening? You expect that things to grow because you know there is a law in the process, and the seed will grow if it is in the right soil and it has the right amount of moisture, making it a real habit and doing it every day. Performing an activity first thing after waking up on a daily basis, that is going to be a really enjoyable time. Another beneficial time to participate gratitude is right before going to bed at night. It has a significant impact. If you are grateful for what is good in your life, then more good will come into your life so that you can continue to be grateful for it. This is why I always say that the universe loves gratitude. The more grateful you are, the more good will come into your life. And it's like, if somebody gives you a present or gives me a present and I say, oh my god, I hate that color, that doesn't fit. Or if you say the same thing to them, you should also know that individual will never again consider buying me a present. But if you say things like, oh, it's wonderful, thank you, and I really adore it, it's great, then that person will most likely want to buy you a present every time they come across something that they believe would be something you would enjoy. And the same thing can be said about the universe. being grateful is very attractive to the universe. One day, much to my astonishment, I realized that if I help people learn to love themselves and truly accept themselves as they are, we didn't need to work on problems because it was almost like a miracle. This was one of the things that blew my mind. When I made this discovery, everything appeared to just vanish into thin air. People have a hard time with it because we are socialized to believe that we are not good enough and that nothing is in its proper place. I am reminded of the many occasions on which I questioned other people by asking, well, what exactly is wrong with you? What have you done that is so terrible that you can't accept yourself? And why is that? I have asked this question countless times, but I have never once received an answer that made any sense. You should know that they could respond with something like, I am too fat. Well, so, but when you talk about loving yourself, a lot of people think that that's vanity, when in reality, it's not really anything to do with that at all. It has nothing to do with it at all. This is a narcissistic response. But to genuinely care about you and to recognize the significance of the fact that you are a living being, it's almost as if in the Bible they would tell you that because you acknowledge the fact that you are a child of God, you are without flaw. But even if you are not a person who believes in the Bible, if you are able to acknowledge that you are a self worth being, and if you can truly recognize the value that you bring to the world, then you will begin to treat yourself differently. And I believe that this is what is so very important about loving yourself, which is that you stop being so hard on yourself and that you stop trying to prove that you are in the wrong. You need to stop going on and on about how terrible you are. And please stop saying things to the effect that I am really stupid and other such things. You begin to show yourself some degree of respect for the first time in your life, and the repercussions of this cannot be overstated because what you put out into the world is what you get back in life. Therefore, if you are giving off the vibe that you are okay, that you are good enough as you are, and that you are acceptable, and I love life, and I love myself, once you do that, you begin to feel gratitude towards both life and yourself. Then life will treat you differently because you are having a different vibration that you are giving out and getting back. And when that happens, things will really start to flow. We live in a human mind that thinks it has to be one way or the other. If it can't happen this way, what other ways are there for it to take place? To put it simply, we are not nearly as intelligent as the universe. As long as we are able to convince ourselves that we are deserving of the thing we want, it has the potential to fulfill all of our hearts, desires, and more. See, when we change the way we think, we change our lives because we no longer limit ourselves in the same ways. It's all about making the most of your restrictions. In addition, we have had some experiences that have shown us that we don't need to place any limitations on ourselves. How many people are familiar with the term fire walking, which refers to the act of walking on hot coals? Which ones are they? Some. Well, a few. Alright, let me get this straight. Has anyone actually done it? It is common knowledge that it is physically impossible to walk barefoot on hot coals without suffering severe burns to one's feet. We are now aware of that, and yet there are people out there right now teaching classes on how to do it and getting anywhere from 20 to 30 people to do it in the span of a single evening. If you have a disease such as cancer and you go to what they call firewalk and you can walk on the hot coals without getting burned, then that must blow your mind, right? Totally. In that case, it seems reasonable that you could eliminate a relatively minor problem like cancer, given that we are currently in the process of moving beyond our previous limitations. Everyone has the same goal, which is to locate the part of themselves where the bumblebee resides. I'm not sure if you have them in your location. However, here in the United States, we have an insect that is known as the bumblebee, and it's little bee that packs a lot of fat. It has tiny wings that are relatively short. According to scientific research, the bee in question is unable to fly due to the fact that its body is too large for its wings. However, the bumblebee is unaware of this fact, despite the fact that it travels all over the place. The bumblebee is not the limiting factor in this situation. The limitation lies in the interpretation of a scientific data, and each of us possesses that place within us that allows us to accomplish things that we did not realize we are capable of. But in order to do so, we must need to give ourselves a chance. This has been whoa, 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 master. Chance.